Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, he has assured residents of Sokoto State that the military presence is aimed at defeating bandits in the region. He urged residents to report any jobless individual living lavishly, as they might be informants for bandits. Matawalle, along with Chief of Defense General Christopher Musa, visited Sokoto on President Bola Tinubu's directive to address insecurity in the northwest. Governor Ahmed Aliyu called for unity against banditry, discouraged the spread of fake security information, and emphasized the state government's efforts to support security agencies, including the Sokoto Community Guard Corps. All right, we have reports from Sokoto State that the federal government has urged residents to report lavish spenders, especially those people that look like they're not doing anything. And according to them, this might just be informants for bandits. You know, we've been talking about banditry in some states in the north.
Well, the security chiefs, they are more professional and they are authorities when it has to do with security matters. But again, one will also wonder the places where they are aware that bandits are operating from, that terrorists are operating from. What is the big results that have been achieved? Now, it's like leaving to chase the rabbits and you begin to chase rats. You know, what is the definition of a lavish lifestyle? I think they ought to have defined it, so that it's not going to be an era for, you know, oppressing the common man. It's not going to be, and because each time police accost anybody, they must spend money before they leave. I don't want to say they must pay for bail, because the law says bail is free.
Well, what do you mean they need to define lavish?
No, yes, you need to define lavishly. But to my very understanding, lifestyle in the northern Nigeria, Sokoto, is a very mild and very simple lifestyle. So if when you talk about lavish lifestyles, I really want them to define it.
Is it not going to define itself when you just said that in Sokoto they live a mild and moderate
when
lifestyle?
You say lavishly, for instance, you may find it difficult to eat one boiled egg because of your economic status. I may like to eat 3. So because I ate 3 eggs, it could be seen to be a lavish lifestyle.
That is not lavish.
No.
And we both know that is not in no way lavish.
The people you are talking to, the mentalities and the exposures and the understanding are not the same. That's why I wanted to suggest, and I'm suggesting that it should be defined. Because what you understand to be lavish lifestyle, to the average man, is just a normal life. But to the man that is, you know, struggling on how to have 1 square meal, it may be a very lavish lifestyle. You know, so that's why I think that they should define it. Because not because you see me eat 3 eggs, you now go and call police, send information to police.
Your examples are very funny. How would you use eggs?
That is my neighbor. No, I'm just giving an instance.
No, that instance is far from
or maybe,
it. And we both know that instance is not in it.
Or maybe those who like when you go to a restaurant, because the food is so sweet, and then you say, give me extra. You know, it's lavish lifestyle. Or possibly because you are in a table trying to cool off or marry with your friends.
We both feel that is not it. Now again, once the government says lavish, people already understand to a large extent what they are talking about.
It has to be defined, because the understanding and the mentality are not the same. And secondly, when you talk about people who do not really have, who are jobless, you know, it boils down again to the way we reason. We still tend to project, you know, colonial mentality and the primitive era.
What is that?
Now, what I try to mean is this. We are in a jet age. We are in a technology age. We are in an era where you can sit in front of your laptop. You mustn't be a Yahoo boy or Yahoo girl. And you are working with your laptop or with your computer, with your phone. And then you are making your money. You get it? So because I do not wake up from the morning and go to an office, and then you see me, I don't go to any of the companies to go and work. I'm not selling any product that you can see. And I went to the supermarket to buy things, and then you see me eat
that is not lavish lifestyle.
No. Especially those suspected to be jobless. You get it? Because the understanding of an average Nigerian of who is not jobless is somebody who is a civil servant, who works in a company, right? Somebody who owns a shop.
Someone who wakes up in the morning and leaves the house.
Exactly. So you are
and
working.
comes back in the evening.
That's why I said that thinking is very, very primitive and is colonial. So I think we must wake up. So the yardstick for trying to curb criminality and bandits in Sokoto State and those environs, I think is not very a global standard. So I think our security operatives needs to wake up and put up, security is not just the physical appearance of security operatives. It has to do with intelligence gathering. It has to do with information. Now, the police are being trained. Security operatives are being trained on information gathering. When you begin to come out on television and say report, it's like the police security operative are helpless. So they are not trying to rely on citizens to...
But they can't do it alone.
No, I know.
Definitely there needs to be synergy
security,
with the people.
Of course, is everybody's business. But the way they have pushed it right now, it looks as if they are very helpless. But I want to encourage citizens of Sokoto State, however you can contribute to see that security in Sokoto State becomes very better. It's everybody's business. You should do. But I also want to feel that don't use what the police have said to winch hunt your neighbor, to winch hunt.
But it's not just, aside the police saying it in Sokoto State, that's what happens in a lot of states in Nigeria. If people notice that you don't leave the house in the morning and come back in the evening, they could report you. But that's why intelligence gathering is there. We don't expect that information should just be carried on and then the person locked up and, convicted for nothing. We expect that investigations will be carried out. So this reportage or this report that the police are talking about is for them to be able to carry out investigations.
See, our security operatives, many of them don't function that way. Once information is given that it looks like you are living a criminal life, you could wake up...
You mean lavish lifestyle?
Yeah, the lavish lifestyle is already a suspect to become a criminal. So once that information is given, you wake up one morning, they've mashed the door and they want to arrest a criminal. Just like the way most of our young Nigerians are suffering because you drive a relatively good car. It's assumed that you are an internet fraudster, and I like to differ most times. And I always say that most of our leaders, some of us who also work hard early, I remember when I was driving my second car, when I'm driving on the road, the commuters will shout, go park your papa motor there and all of that. Whereas it's my car, it's not my father's car. But in their assumption, they believe that it's my father's car I took to go out. So I think Nigerians are hardworking. We still have people who are hardworking, and they are still hardworking.
Yes, for this information to come out, we cannot completely rule it out. I know you have brought your points from the other side, but there must have been some sort of information that has made them come out to say, look, it shows that some people in our community are working with the bandits, and they are the ones giving them information. and probably they are getting paid well. So if you notice anybody who's not doing anything, who is living lavish, report the person to the police. They didn't. I don't think they just came out and just made an outright statement without having information to back it up or having some investigations that has led to this comment.
No, I'm not saying, you know, in my first premise, I said the police chiefs who have made these, you know, requests and pronouncements, they are experts, they are professionals, and they are authority as far as security matters are concerned. But I only further to, you know, encourage that the lavish lifestyle they are talking about should be defined because of the mindset and the mentality of the citizens of that state. Everybody is not at the same level of understanding. I only brought down the issue of 3 eggs, and because
when you hear, okay, imagine you were in that state now. When you hear the police telling you, if you notice anybody around you is living a lavish lifestyle, report the person to the police. What do you think they're talking about?
Most times it becomes an avenue for revenge.
For you now, for you, what would be your definition from that statement?
Lavish lifestyle?
Yes.
I told you that the lifestyle of everybody is not the same. The fact that you cannot afford what I'm affording or what I am using, it doesn't make me live a lavish lifestyle. The fact that maybe I'm into philanthropic life.
Okay, you're telling us what it does, what it is not. Can you tell us what it is to you?
Well, that's why
this is just simple English, and this is simple grammar.
The person who authored, there is an intent.
Yes.
So I'm not the author of that statement.
But you're the receiver now.
No, is the, you know, that's the.
And now I'm asking you, as the receiver, how do you decode this particular statement?
You see, I will not teach the police their work.
Okay, you don't want to make a statement on that. Let's go further and let's see how. Let's see what I've seen. You don't want. You don't want to go there. What do we expect now from the security agencies, as long as banditry is concerned in the north?
What I expect is for them to increase their level of intelligence, information gathering, increase their level of operations in terms of arrest, in terms of dislodging the bandits, you know, and ensuring that proper prosecutions are made, and then also go into the causes of this banditry. Because sometimes we are only reactive. Sometimes we do not want to ask. Yes, there are criminal activities, but we are not interested to know what shall have led these young people, even old people are involved in this kind of criminal lifestyles. So they should also employ the avenue of, you know, community relationship, and ensuring that the curb, if there are areas where the economic life is very hard, you know, government can be encouraged. Please, can you cite some industries? Can you see how you can give scholarship? Can you see how you can empower the young people to go into businesses so that they will not have an idle opportunity to exhibit devilish operations? So it's not just about looking for criminals. We also need to think about preventing criminal activities, and which I think is also a major way of reducing the pressures that our security operatives are having. I sympathize with them all the time because they are being exposed, you know, to dangers. They are being exposed to activities that can endanger their lives, because they are people's brothers, sisters, they are people's husbands and wives, you know. So, but if we take our responsibilities very well, people in government, as community leaders, and then ensure that there is peace, we ensure that there is no oppression, there is no injustice, there is fairness in our activities, there is opportunity for people to strive and survive and make ends meet, the issue of criminality will reduce.
Okay, so let's look at the police now working with the community. I remember once on this show when you talked about people in the community being involved in this, and this story has actually highlighted that right now, talking about some of these people who are sponsors or partners with these bandits living among the people. How do you expect the police to fish these guys out if the community doesn't help them fish them out? Because they're the ones living with these people, and that's probably why they came up with the idea of, okay, this is exactly how we might get to identify these people working with the bandits.
Well, I've always encouraged community, every individual to partner with the security operatives, because it's not a one-man business. The police cannot be everywhere because they are not spirits, and they are also short of manpower. They are also short of equipment, you know, to handle global security. Having said that, I will continue to encourage communities to partner with the police, and also encourage the officers on duty when these informations are given. These individuals should not be treated as criminals. Proper investigations should be done, and when it is, you know, understood that this person is not actually jobless, he has what it takes to live the kind of lifestyle he's living, maintain the kind of lifestyle he's also maintaining, this person should be freed without any kind of demand for payment, without any kind of harassment. You know, you must not even take him to the police station for you to interrogate him.
No, the law already stipulates how these things should be done, and I don't think it's so far from what you're saying.
What is the law saying? The truth about it is that the conventional activities of most of our security, we have good ones, we have decent ones, we have ones that are very, very professional in conducting their assignment. But we have some who are very crooked. We have some whose intent is only to muzzle out resources from the suspected victim. So that's why we are trying to raise a caution that the officers on duties should not see it as an opportunity to exploit innocent citizens of Sokoto State in the name of information, in the name of interrogation, because somebody's a whistleblower blew that this my neighbor is living a lavish lifestyle, and I do not know how he gets his resources. You know, so that's why I said that they must conduct themselves in a more professional way, not dehumanizing anybody because somebody says my neighbor is living a lifestyle, whereas you do not know the source of your neighbor's source of income. So if you are as a police officer, you are informed, try and interrogate, discuss, right, to gather information. If it's not convincing, then you can further your interrogation, but not to, you know, see the suspect as a criminal because somebody says he's living a what do you call it, that word again, a lavish lifestyle. That's why I said the lavishness should be defined, or ought to have been defined. And I still maintain that the fact that you can provide 1 egg and I can provide 3 for myself does not make me live a lavish lifestyle. It's contextual. So let us not begin to victimize each other because of what you cannot afford.
I was really eager to find out your definition of lavish, because I wonder how
it's
we will talk about lavish and you keep mentioning 3 eggs.
No, it's contextual.
Like, how of all the examples in the world did you come up with 9 eggs?
Why I say so is that there are a lot of
going to the supermarket.
There are so much eggs in Sokoto State. So egg is a good analogy or example to be used.
I didn't even hear you mention things like building, you know, houses, buying very expensive cars when your people around you do not even know exactly what you're doing, and you don't even leave the house like the conventional Nigerian who works in the morning and comes back in the evening.
But we have already defined that, knowing that we are in a jet age, computer age, not everybody have the opportunity to work in a firm, physical firm. There are people, okay, for instance now, Lagos State government is saying some can work from home. There are people who are working for some multinational companies and they work from home. There are consultants. So our different ways of operations are not the same. So the fact that we are neighbors and you do not know my source of livelihood, in fact, that's why I said it's a very primitive mentality, because if you travel to Europe, your next door neighbor, you may not know her name or his name, right? The person wakes up in the morning.
But it's not always that way in Nigeria. This is Nigeria.
That's what we are saying now, that we are still operating with the primitive era.
Why do we call it primitive? Because we
primitive era.
Because we communicate with ourselves, and that's primitive.
No. It's a communal life. It's not bad. We do not mind our business. When we communicate with others, sometimes we communicate to gather information to ruin them. We do not communicate with people so that we can gather information to get help and motivation. So sometimes the intent of communication is not for progressive ventures. So I like, because sometimes we are here, we live here. So that's why I feel that our decisions sometimes is very primitive, you know, and we do not want to step up to global ways of doing things. And the ones that we borrow globally, we only use it against ourselves. So we must sometimes, I wonder whether Satan lives in Nigeria.
No.
Because of the way
why would you say that?
So we must.
You even sound like you have experienced somebody who has really shown you that, shown you Pepe. Let's go on a short break now. When we return, the conversation will continue with other stories. Please stay with us.